Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel Urban Rise. In this video, I'm going to provide an overview of the most common career pathways in construction for anyone considering a career in the industry. If you're just about to finish school or college, reading a bachelor's degree or just thinking of getting into construction, this video may benefit you and help you in your decision-making process. Okay people, thanks for taking some time to watch this video. So as mentioned in the intro, we will be looking at the most common career pathways in construction and hopefully shed a little bit of light on each one of them for you. There are so many careers in construction which can vary from the actual on-site stuff like putting up steel on concrete and the off-site stuff like manufacturing, fabrication, supply of materials and labour, and even support services. However, this video will solely look at the most typical players in the industry, what they do, and how to get into that career. Please bear in mind that this video is only an overview of the most typical construction pathways in construction and does not have the depth or detail to be able to explain many of the intricate and nuanced details of these careers. If you are interested in watching more of this subject and would like to see an in-depth video of these construction pathways, please let me know in the comments section and I'll see what I can do for you. Number 1, the architect, also known as the designer, is the first person involved in the building construction process, long before a spade even hits the ground. The architect is the one that develops the design or concept to meet the client's budget, time, and quality requirements. The architect could be an architectural firm or a sole proprietor, depending on the size, the value, location, or even design concept of the particular project. Architectural firms, on the other hand, could be involved in multi-million-dollar projects, which could even span the globe. An architectural firm could have multiple architectural technologists, draftspeople and project administrators, all responsible for different parts of the project, but all reporting to the chief architect. These large firms can win work by design competitions, repeat business relationships, or bidding on client proposals such as RFPs, requests for proposal for design services. An architect spends most of his or her time in an office, which is often high-tech due to the demands of modern technology, with frequent visits to construction sites to monitor construction progress, visits to suppliers to inspect and review products, and at times may even travel abroad to meet prospective clients, review site locations, or select certain exotic materials. To be a fully blown architect who wants to climb to the top of their career, education and training can take anywhere from between 5 to 8 years, with a mix of university, internships and exams depending on the country you're located. Architects can expect to be paid on average around $90,000 to $110,000 a year after qualification. However, it does depend on the size of the company you're working for. Larger firms usually pay more due to the higher profile projects they work on. And of course it depends on your design and creative skills, and of course your communication and people skills. Number 2, engineers. The word engineer is very ubiquitous and also relevant to many other industries and professions outside of construction. The most common engineers in construction, however, are structural, mechanical, and electrical engineers, which are typically involved in all construction projects. Other engineers in construction can also be geotechnical, acoustical, civil, audiovisual, plumbing, fire protection, and even landscaping engineers. An engineer will typically be hired by an architect through a rigorous selection process in order to design the structural, functional, and operational elements of the project. Structural engineers will design the structural concrete, the wood, and the steel elements of a building. Mechanical engineers will design the components necessary to provide air, water, heat, and waste removal from a building. Electrical engineers will design power and lighting aspects of the building. The audiovisual engineer will design the client's requirements for TV screens, speakers, and microphones for the project. Acoustical engineers will design the space to meet certain noise reduction or noise masking measures. Fire protection engineers will design sprinkler and piping designs in order to ensure the building is protected against fire. Geotechnical engineers will be concerned with the ground stabilization and the soil which the building is placed on, and inspect and advise on suitable load-bearing options for the building. Civil engineers will design the roads, paths and drainage outside the building, and landscaping engineers will design the outdoor space, which may consist of plants, trees, grass and hardscaping. To become an engineer, you'll need a 4-year or equivalent bachelor's degree. Once you have obtained a degree, you find work as a trainee engineer and you can apply for the designation EIT, which is Engineer in Training. Training can take up to 3 years before you can sit the Professional Engineer's exam and become a PEng, which is Professional Engineer. And then after that, it's up to you, it's up to your competence and how well you do and the opportunities you get to see how far you can climb the career ladder. Number 3, Project Manager. There are various versions of a project manager, such as operations manager, contracts manager, or even construction manager. However, for simplicity, we are going to use the term project manager to cover many of the areas of responsibility. The project manager has the overall responsibility for the job. A project manager's job can be extremely stressful, as the buck starts and stops with them. The project manager can be the client-side PM, who represents the client's interests, or a construction company PM, who represents the construction firm on site. The project manager is usually office-based, but on large projects they may even have an office on site or lease space close to the site. A project manager's broad responsibilities are project documentation, financial and client services. The PM also deals with contracts for both client, subtrades and vendors, drawings and shop drawings, receiving payments from the clients and paying contractors and vendors, keeping the client up to date. The PM must also work closely with the site manager to ensure positive outcomes. Project managers can typically make between $70,000 to $90,000 a year, but can far supersede that, even reaching $120,000 to $140,000 a year, depending on the responsibility level. Number 4, Site Manager. The site manager or superintendent or even supervisor is at the heart of the construction and is responsible for everything that happens on site. The site manager is the go-to guy for everyone on site and has the overall decision-making responsibility. The site manager is responsible for site setup, layout of the building, production and efficiency of work, schedule and programming, trade and vendor coordination, materials, material handling, equipment and equipment requirements, managing health and safety, and producing a quality product. Depending on the type of contract and the makeup of the construction firm, the site manager may have their own crews to self-perform work in the capacity of a general contractor. The site manager will have their own carpenters, labourers and concrete workers, typically to undertake rough work like carpentry, concrete and wood frames, and the rest of the work being subcontracted out. Alternatively, the site manager may be working under the form of contract called construction management, whereby they do not perform any of the actual work themselves. All work is contracted out to subcontractors and they just manage and coordinate the site activities. Most universities or colleges now offer courses in construction management, with a few now specialising more on the site management side. Taking a course like this will teach you and groom you to be able to take on many of the management aspects of construction, and then beyond that, it's lots and lots of site experience required for you to climb the ladder. Another option to become a site manager is to make your way up via the site experience route, perhaps first by starting out as a labourer, then foreman or field staff, and then supervisor. Of course, it will be of benefit to you to take some courses along the way in order to gain some certifications. A site manager's salary can be very high since he or she is expected to work long hours in stressful conditions. At the lower end, a superintendent may earn $80,000 to $100,000 a year. At the upper end, he or she can expect to earn anywhere between $130,000 to $160,000 a year. Number 5, Foreman or Lead Hand. The foreman or lead hand usually works under the site manager and at the site manager's direction. Often the foreman takes a task-oriented role and will perhaps have a couple of workers under his direction. to do small jobs around the site. Again, depending on the size of the project and the construction firm, the foreman may be one of a couple of foremen responsible for different aspects like formwork or excavations or framing. Foremanship is not something that you typically go to school to learn, although there are a few courses popping up now which cover the basics of supervisor and foremanship. Most foremen have come through the experience route, showing the ability to work to a plan, manage time and deal with people. A foreman usually earns somewhere between $25 to $40 per hour and works on site all the time with the site manager and other trades. Number 6, the trades. The trades make up the bulk of personnel on site and have the most wide-ranging responsibilities. The trades work with their hands and install all of the components that make up a building. Being in the trades can be very rewarding due to the tangible nature of construction production. Unlike if you are dealing with papers or sitting in meetings, trade work can be very satisfying as you can physically measure the results of your efforts every day. Trade work, on the other hand, can be hard physical work, so fitness and mobility are essential to become successful in construction. The most common trades on a typical construction project are as follows. Excavation trades dig, level and compact your site to receive the substructure of the building. They dig trenches, install manholes and even do paving. Carpenters make rough forms for concrete, fine woodwork like doors and cabinets. Plumbers and mechanical workers install water pipes, air ducts, rainwater systems, heating and ventilation components. Iron workers or steel erectors erect the superstructure or frame of a building and also do small miscellaneous work and welding. Electricians install power and lighting. Framers and drywallers erect and finish internal partitions, ceilings and exterior sidings. Painters paint walls, ceilings, columns and provide overall colour and texture decoration to a space. Floor layers and tile setters lay sheet and vinyl tile, lino or ceramic and porcelain tile. Masons or bricklayers lay brick, block and construct the walls of a building. Roofers work outside all the time and lay weatherproofing components of a building to stop the weather from getting in and to mitigate losing internal conditions to the outside. Anyone can get into the trades from grassroots level as long as you are willing to start off by labouring for a journeyman tradesperson. By showing some smarts and initiative, you can usually get all the way to the top of a trade pile and even get your company to sponsor you through trade school or college. It usually takes up to 3 years to be a qualified tradesperson, and those trades working on things that are hazardous to life safety such as gas, plumbing and electrical will require further certification. Number 7. General labourer. When considering a career in construction, it's always a good idea to get some general labouring experience. Not only do you get to earn some money and get some experience in construction, but you also get to see where most of the construction personnel work and what they do. At a general labouring level, you will have little responsibility aside from following direction from the site manager. The fact that you have little responsibility on site gives you the opportunity to keep your eyes peeled on site and determine if construction is right for you, see what others do and even ask questions. The pay for general labouring is not the best and is somewhere between $12 to $15 per hour. However, the insight that you get from working as a general labourer is invaluable and can help you make a decision to start in the industry. There are many labour agencies around nowadays looking for people that just want to work, and you can likely get taken on one day and be working the next. Takeaways. The career paths in construction are numerous and all have their advantages and disadvantages. In order for you to make a decision, there are many differentiators between them, such as if you like working inside or outside, whether you like working with your hands or not, and whether you like design, building or managing people. In terms of remuneration, money, wages, moolah, bacon, bills, bucks, cash, coin, salary or income, the amount that you earn in a particular career path will always depend on the amount of responsibility you take on and can successfully handle. Doing the things that make others shirk will make you the most money. And as Earl Nightingale, the American speaker and author, once said, the money you are paid will always be in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the degree of difficulty in replacing you. Well, that's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you learned something. If you do have any questions, drop them in the comments box and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.